Welcome. I'm Jasmine Iru with another episode of Scope. The completion of the first 4 homes in Miamrai village in the CMCA Trust region is a significant milestone in the region's development. The community's village development funds, all stakeholders, have all played crucial roles in making this project a reality. The success of this project highlights the potential for collaborative efforts to drive positive change and foster sustainable development in the region.
The CMCA Trusts continue to prioritize housing as a crucial agenda item. Providing a roof over one's head remains a significant expense for families. To address this, villagers of the Special Community Mine Continuation Agreement access their village development funds to build homes. Recently, Miamrai village, located in the Waitree CMCA Trust region, celebrated the handover of the first 4 homes funded by the Miamrai Village Development Funds. CMCA Trust Administrator Johannes Safirius expressed his appreciation for the community leaders as the key people in delivering the project. He emphasized the importance of taking ownership, stating all stakeholders have a role to play in ensuring successful outcomes for the project. The Village Planning Committee Chairman Tony Wainu praised the project's delivery. He expressed his gratitude for delivering the first 4 houses and thanked the Oktedi Development Foundation for its commitment to delivering projects earmarked under the VDF as compensation payments to the mine-impacted communities. Waitree Trust Chairman Gran Somoe thanked OTDF for its logistics support and movement of material, which he considered crucial in the project's success. He highlighted that the project's success goes beyond the construction of homes as it provides off-grid power and water catchment tanks, making it sustainable and eco-friendly. He emphasized that this project's innovative aspects demonstrate the potential for sustainable development in the region. One of the homeowners, Tumba Warren, expressed her gratitude for the 3-bedroom family home and the partnership between the local builder, his carpenters, OTDF, and Miamrai village that made it possible. She acknowledged that the home would provide shelter and security for her family in the years to come. Mr. Safirius also acknowledged local carpenter Jimmy Aidwanai and his team, who completed 4 of 10 buildings funded under the Miamrai Village Housing Project. He was pleased to report the carpentry work meets high building standards, and he anticipates the next 6 homes to maintain the same level of quality. Mr. Safirius announced Oktedi Power donated 10 solar panels, ensuring all 10 houses would have off-grid power and water catchment tanks for fresh water by the end of the project. The Executive Manager of Program Services with OTDF, Eric Kuman, apologized for the project's delays and stated that OTDF is committed to support the project delivery. He highlighted that funding components of projects do not capture additional costs and for movement and logistics. As a result, OTDF has to source additional funds to move materials. Despite the delays, OTDF has shown its dedication and commitment to the region to fast-track project movement, ensuring that the remaining 6 homes are completed by the year's end. OTDF continues with infrastructure development projects, with the remaining 6 homes to be built before the year ends. Each house has 3 bedrooms, built to specifications, water tanks, and installed solar lighting.
After the break, Kido community welcomes new library facility, but is still challenged with filling up its shelves with books. Kido Elementary and Primary School in Central Province opened its newly built library building on May the 2nd, 2023. The library building is an initiative of New Power Limited's under its Giving Back to the Community program.
Kido Elementary and Primary School Library is a first-of-its-kind facility for the community. Kido and surrounding communities is where New Power Limited bases its business. This project is part of Giving Back to the Community initiative, which New Power Limited started 4 years ago. With its initiative of giving back to the communities, the company has donated water tanks, sponsored in sports for youth in rugby sevens and netballs, as well as conducted SME training for the locals. But putting up such project as a library is quite significant. The library building cost around 400,000 kina. The well-constructed building has ceiling fans, solar lightings and 2 Tafa tanks for preserving water and enough space and tables for students inside. New Power Limited is planning to extend this work in Papa, Lealea, Porebada and Boera, who are also part of the Giving Back to the Community initiative. The finance manager for New Power Limited said the company is happy to work together with the communities in such projects.
Apart from education or libraries, we help with clinics as well. We've supplied vaccine fridges for all the 8 posts located in those 5 villages. We support churches as well, not in cash but in kind. When they're having their conventions or fellowships, we buy dry goods for them. We also have trying to initiate farming among the villages. And we also support sports as well. We sponsor the Hiri West netball tournaments that's held every year. And there's rugby, and there's trying to introduce rugby union into the communities as well. So it varies from year to year. We don't have fixed programs. We have the focus areas that we have. We try to. We have our community liaison officer who is Bisia, who lives at Papa. And he goes around the 5 villages and checks on whatever request the community has, they channel it through him and he brings it up to the office, and then we discuss and we make budgetary allocations, and then we carry out our programs, but with the involvement of the communities and the village council.
New Power Limited may be fulfilling its community obligations given the location where it bases its business, but to the communities, this means a lot to them because Kido Primary has been bidding for a library for a very long time. To see such an infrastructure in the school, it is a huge relief. With this library building, students can now access resources where only few village schools have. During the opening of the building, students were told not to deface the infrastructure, but get the best out from it. They were encouraged to spend time in the library and read books, which will soon occupy the current empty shelves. School head teacher Douglas Benoni said the school is working on that.
I would say thank you to New Power for donating such a building to us, because it will be very, very important to us teachers, as it will be a resource kept in, because all the resources, materials, curriculum should be kept for us to use to teach the children, as well as the children. It will be in good use for the self-education of the kids, like they go and do research. They also do private leisure reading, just to help themselves for the education as of today and in the future years to come. So I think all in all, the library is very important for us in terms of education for our kids and the generation of today.
Mr. Benoni assured New Power Limited that this facility will go a long way in educating students.
In the rural area, and to get books from people, it's very hard to reach out to them. But I would say thanks God that people opened up as soon as we began to write to them. Sometimes we use the Facebook just to show our school and classroom building. People begin to donate to us, especially UNICEF, United Nations Children Emergency Fund, and Principal of Guerrero also had an initiative to help us with some books. New Power also gave us some books. Even the SDAs, not forgetting them, who donated us books. Just by looking at us, because we were using the strategy of classroom library, putting just few materials that we had in the classroom to help the children go along while waiting for this library. Thank you.
The school head teacher has also put out an appeal to an individual or an organization who would like to donate books to the school. Letters have been written to seek this assistance. The principal of Gerehu Secondary School was also invited to attend the program. He pledged to support the school with books in his capacity. He was a pioneer student of Kido Primary School.
Kido Community School has produced a lot of public and private sector workmen that are now today back to the community with the little that they earn. They come back and support the community in cash and kind. And some of which are seated on this stage. And they are the fruits of this community school. I am one of them. I graduated from this school in grade 6, went to Yarwari High School, came to Laloki High School, then to the university.
He said the school is fortunate to have this infrastructure. The onus is on students and the community to look after it and get the best out from it.
Library is a library, and it is a library. It is a store of information. It is a store of information. Sooner or later, it will be filled with a lot of books, a lot of knowledge that will be put in there. All I'm encouraging students, so as the community, is to come to the library and do a lot of reading.
Kido community was happy for the new library building and urged New Power Limited to consider coming back to the island with another project through the initiative.
When we come back, we revisit history in the making, the crowning of the King Charles III. The King and Queen waved at crowds and watched a flypast at Buckingham Palace's balcony. Following a day of coronation celebrations, they were joined by senior royals, including the Prince and Princess of Wales and their children. Earlier, the King and Queen were crowned in a ceremony full of pageantry and symbolism. About 2,200 people, including the royal family, celebrities, faith leaders, and heads of state, were there to witness the event. Thousands more lined the streets of London to catch a glimpse of the King and Queen. In PNG, a simultaneous ceremony in honor of the coronation of King Charles III was held in the nation's capital.
The procession from Government House is now entering the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium.
Papua New Guinea hosted a simultaneous ceremony at Sir Hubert Murray Stadium, Port Moresby, to celebrate and honor the coronation of the new King of United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, King Charles III, on Saturday, March 6th. The event was hosted by NCD Governor Pakop, who welcomed distinguished guests including Job Pomat, Acting Governor-General, Prime Minister James Marape, Sir Gibbs Salika, Chief Justice of PNG, members of the Diplomatic Corps including High Commissioner of Britain to Papua New Guinea, members of the Diplomatic Corps. Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles ascended to the throne on September 8, 2022 as King Charles III, the same day his mother passed on. Prime Minister James Marape shared a brief history of Papua New Guinea. When the southern part of the country, Papua, was a British colony under the reign of Queen Victoria in 1884.
And Britain's monarchy reminds us of our own traditional chieftaincy systems, which brought order, balance, and stability to our communities and societies. Our continued association with the Crown is also linked to our shared history and Britain's hand and contribution in our national development as a country. This history is now part of our acquired history and heritage, just as our 1,000+ traditional customs and norms that are part of our heritage and identity. As the world becomes a global village and continues to turn to the other for support and growth, as global issues become more complex and diverse, strong advocacy becomes paramount in addressing them.
Governor General Sir Bob Dadai, his wife Lady Emilini, led an entourage to visit the crowning, including Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Chachenko. In his place, the acting Gigi and Speaker of Parliament Job Pomat gave the keynote address at the coronation ceremony in the nation's capital. Halfway across the world, the King's Day began shortly after 10 a.m. with the procession to Westminster Abbey in the horse-drawn Diamond Jubilee state coach. Months of intense planning went into the celebrations, the 40th coronation to take place at Westminster Abbey since 1066. Inside, faith leaders and Commonwealth leaders began the processions, with the King and Queen following behind. Celebrity guests were among those inside Westminster Abbey, including actress Emma Thompson and U.S. singer Katy Perry. After the crown was placed on Charles's head, cries of "God Save the King" were heard inside and outside, and gun salutes were made across the UK. U.S. First Lady Jill Biden and her granddaughter Finnegan arrived in a 3-car motorcade. President Biden did not travel to the UK. In all, 90 heads of state attended, the Foreign Office said. The coronation's main theme was the importance of service. Unlike past coronations, this time the ceremony emphasized diversity and inclusion, with contributions from Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, and Sikh representatives. A Bible lesson was read by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who is Hindu, and music was sung in Welsh, Scottish, Gaelic, and Irish. The 2-hour ceremony, the first to crown a monarch in 70 years, was watched on TV around the world, as well as some 2,300 people inside the abbey. Among the music and oaths, there were moments of complete silence as each stage of the ancient ceremony finished. Traditions rarely seen elsewhere in modern life were maintained, including the king being shielded from public for the anointing, seen as the most sacred part of proceedings. The king was anointed with holy oils by the Archbishop of Canterbury. The palace said it has historically been regarded as a moment between the sovereign and God. Charles was proclaimed as the undoubted king in the first stage of the ceremony. The congregation was then asked to show their homage and service, shouting "God Save the King." Prince William also made a pledge of loyalty to King Charles and kissed him on the cheek before members of the congregation were invited to offer their own support. Returning to the palace, it was a spectacle of pomp and pageantry as the newly crowned king and queen traveled up the mall in the gold state coach flanked by thousands of servicemen and women. In total, 4,000 armed forces personnel and 19 military bands took part, making it the biggest state occasion since the coronation of the late Queen in 1953. A concert was on display to close off a historical and phenomenal event in the history of the Commonwealth of Nations. The Prince of Wales honoured his pa then for his service to the world.
My father's first words on entering Westminster Abbey yesterday were a pledge of service. It was a pledge to continue to serve, because for over 50 years, in every corner of the UK, across the Commonwealth and around the world, he has dedicated himself to serve others, both current and future generations, and those whose memory must not be neglected. Take the natural world. He warned us of the risks to our planet's health long before it was an everyday issue. Or the Prince's Trust. It has supported The Prince's Trust has supported over 1 million young people, many from disadvantaged backgrounds, to realise their ambitions. And perhaps most importantly of all, my father has always understood that people of all faiths, all backgrounds, and all communities deserve to be celebrated and supported. Pa, we are all so proud of you. And I also want to express my pride and gratitude for the millions of people who serve in the forces, in classrooms, hospital wards, and local communities. I wish I could mention you all. Your service inspires us, and tonight we celebrate you too. I commit myself to serve you all, King, country, and Commonwealth. God save the King.
And that ends another edition of Scope. Thank you for your company. Good night.